Picture this. Someone claims to love you, yet they vanish into silence, leaving you questioning everything: your worth, their feelings, the very ground beneath your feet. It's a gut punch that can rattle even the strongest among us. Welcome to Sigma Male Community, a channel forged for men who refuse to crumble under life's chaos, men who value independence, self-mastery, and the raw power of a mind unshaken by external storms. Today, we're tearing into a paradox that's as old as human connection itself: why someone who loves you might ignore you. This isn't about weak excuses or shallow platitudes. We're diving headfirst into the psychological depths, guided by Carl Jung, a titan of the human psyche whose wisdom cuts through the noise like a blade. For the Sigma male, this isn't just about decoding relationships. It's about wielding psychological insight as a tool to sharpen your resilience and command your inner world. Carl Jung's lens reveals that love and fear are twisted together in ways most never see. And for a man who thrives on clarity and strength, understanding this is non-negotiable. If you've ever felt the sting of unexplained distance from someone you care about, this is your roadmap to not just survive it, but to rise above it with the unshakable confidence of a Sigma male. Let's unravel the unconscious forces at play and arm you with the knowledge to navigate this with power and purpose. The human mind, as Carl Jung taught us, is a battlefield of hidden currents, unseen fears, buried traumas, and instincts that defy logic. When someone pulls away despite their love, it's not a simple rejection. It's a window into their psyche, a signal of the war raging beneath their surface. For the Sigma male, this is where the game changes. You don't react with desperation or doubt. You analyze, you understand, you grow. We're peeling back the layers of this behavior, rooted in Carl Jung's groundbreaking theories, to show you why love can trigger retreat and how you can stand tall in the face of it. This journey demands emotional control and rational thinking, traits that define the Sigma mindset. By the end, you'll see their silence not as a personal attack, but as a psychological puzzle you're equipped to solve, not for their sake, but for your own evolution. So strap in, brothers. We're going deep into the mind, and you're coming out stronger. 1. The unconscious saboteur. Why love triggers fear. Your presence forces them to face what they've buried: insecurities, past wounds, maybe even a fear of losing themselves in the depth of the bond. That vulnerability terrifies their unconscious, triggering a defense mechanism as old as humanity itself: retreat. They don't choose to ignore you. Their psyche demands it, scrambling to restore a sense of safety by pushing you out of reach. It's not a rejection of you, but a desperate attempt to shield their fragile equilibrium from the threat your closeness poses. For the Sigma male, this is where your strength shines. Carl Jung believed that understanding the unconscious is the key to mastering life's chaos, and that's your edge. Instead of chasing or crumbling, you step back and see the bigger picture. Their silence is a symptom of their internal struggle, not a verdict on your value. This isn't about coddling them. It's about arming yourself with insight. Their unconscious saboteur has taken the wheel, and your job isn't to wrestle it back for them, but to stand firm in your own clarity. The Sigma mindset thrives on this. You don't let their fear dictate your peace. You recognize that love, for them, has become a double-edged sword, beautiful yet threatening, and you use that knowledge to fortify your own resilience. Carl Jung's wisdom empowers you to detach emotionally, not out of coldness, but out of a rational grasp of what's really happening. You're not here to fix their shadow. You're here to master your own response, turning their retreat into fuel for your growth. 2. The paradox of intimacy's threat. Why vulnerability feels dangerous. Carl Jung's insights into the human soul reveal a paradox that cuts to the core of this behavior. The deepest fear isn't isolation, but the raw exposure of being truly known. When you offer genuine love, it's not just a gift, it's a mirror, reflecting back their beauty, their flaws, their unhealed scars. For someone unprepared, that reflection is a psychological ambush. Carl Jung's theory of individuation, the lifelong journey to integrate the conscious and unconscious, shows why this happens. True intimacy demands they confront their whole self, including the parts they've spent years hiding behind a carefully crafted mask. Your closeness strips that mask away, leaving them naked before their own insecurities. Ignoring you isn't about pushing you away. It's about escaping the unbearable weight of that vulnerability. Carl Jung argued that we all crave connection, yet fear the price it exacts, being seen fully and unflinchingly. For them, your love becomes a threat, not because it's lacking, but because it's too real. As a Sigma male, this is your moment to wield psychological clarity like a weapon. Carl Jung's work teaches that growth comes from facing the self, but you can't force that journey on someone else. Their retreat signals their unreadiness, and your power lies in accepting that without losing your footing. You don't take it personally because you know their flight is about their battle, not your worth. This is where the Sigma's emotional control takes root. You refuse to let their fear pull you into doubt or desperation. Carl Jung's exploration of the anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine energies, adds another layer. Your presence might unsettle their internal balance, stirring tensions they can't yet resolve. That's their burden, not yours. You stand as a pillar of strength, grounded in the understanding that intimacy's threat is their hurdle to clear. By staying centered, you embody the Sigma ideal, independent, unshaken, and focused on your own path, letting their struggle play out without derailing your ascent. 3. Love's Crucible. The pressure of transformation. Carl Jung often likened love to an alchemical process, a crucible that doesn't just warm the heart but burns away illusions, forcing transformation. When love is deep, it's not all soft edges and comfort. It's a psychological forge, applying heat and pressure that drag buried fears and insecurities to the surface. For someone who loves you yet ignores you, this pressure can feel like a breaking point. Carl Jung's concept of the alchemical process in relationships explains it. Love acts as a catalyst, stirring their unconscious into chaos. Old wounds, doubts about worthiness, or fears of losing control bubble up, and without emotional resilience, they buckle. Ignoring you becomes their escape hatch, a way to douse the flames and retreat from the intensity. It's not that they don't feel the love, it's that the transformation it demands overwhelms them. Carl Jung saw this as a universal truth. Genuine connection tests us, and not everyone's ready to face the fire. For the Sigma male, this crucible is a proving ground, not for them, but for you. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds you that their reaction isn't your burden to carry. It's a signal of their limits, not yours. You don't flinch or falter because you've trained your mind to withstand uncertainty. Their withdrawal tests your ability to stay focused on what matters, your own growth, your own strength. Carl Jung believed the unconscious often sabotages what we consciously desire when it feels threatened, and that's what's unfolding here. You can't force them to embrace the heat of transformation, but you can use it to refine yourself. The Sigma doesn't beg or break under pressure. He thrives in it, turning their silence into a chance to sharpen his psychological edge. You emerge from this not diminished, but hardened. A man who knows that love's fire reveals as much about your resilience as it does about their fragility. 4. The control fallacy. Why love defies logic. Carl Jung's work on the ego, the conscious self that craves order and dominance, sheds light on why love can drive someone to ignore you. Many cling to the delusion that emotions, especially love, can be tamed and controlled like a machine. But true love is wild. unpredictable, a force that laughs at the ego's blueprints. When someone pulls away, it's often their ego's frantic attempt to wrestle back control from the chaos your connection unleashes. Carl Jung taught that the ego fears anything that threatens its reign, and love's depth does just that. It exposes vulnerability, demands surrender, and defies logic. By ignoring you, they're not rejecting the bond. They're trying to cage it, to impose distance as a false sense of mastery over something that refuses to be managed. It's a flawed strategy, born from the unconscious need to feel safe in a storm they can't command. The Sigma male sees through this illusion with piercing clarity. Carl Jung's insights empower you to recognize that their retreat isn't about you. It's about their ego's losing battle with love's reality. You don't waste energy trying to force their surrender, because you know control is a mirage in matters of the heart. Your strength lies in letting go of that need, standing firm in your own sovereignty while their unconscious flails. Carl Jung's concept of the self, the integrated core beyond the ego, guides you here. True power isn't in bending others to your will, but in mastering your own response. You don't chase or manipulate, you hold your ground, unshaken by their need for control. This is the Sigma way, rooted in psychological truth, fueled by independence, and tempered by the understanding that love's wildness is their challenge to face, not yours to tame. 5. Projection. The hidden enemy within Carl Jung's theory of projection is a psychological bombshell. We cast our inner shadows onto those around us, blaming them for the turmoil we can't face within. When someone ignores you despite their love, it's not really about you. It's about the unresolved baggage they're projecting onto your presence. Carl Jung argued that the unconscious uses projection as a shield, deflecting self-awareness by pinning our flaws and fears on others. Your love stirs their shadow, those repressed doubts, guilts, or pains they've buried, and instead of confronting it, they make you the scapegoat. Ignoring you is their way of running from that reflection, not from the person you are. It's a visceral, unconscious act. Your closeness activates their demons, and distance becomes their only defense against the mirror you unwittingly hold up. For the Sigma male, this is a call to razor-sharp discernment. Carl Jung's teachings arm you with the insight to see their behavior for what it is, a projection of their internal war, not a judgment of your worth. You don't internalize their silence or let it erode your confidence. You decode it, recognizing it as their struggle breaking through the surface. This isn't about excusing them. It's about protecting your own peace with the clarity Carl Jung provides. The Sigma doesn't get tangled in someone else's psychological knots. He observes, learns, and keeps moving forward. You know their coldness is a symptom of their shadow, not a flaw in your character. With this understanding, you maintain your emotional center, refusing to let their projection pull you off course. It's a testament to your strength. You face reality as it is, not as their unconscious paints it. 6. The test you didn't consent to. Absence as a litmus test. Sometimes, ignoring you is an unconscious experiment, a test they don't even know they're running. Carl Jung's work on the unconscious suggests that buried fears, like abandonment or engulfment, can drive us to probe the strength of our bonds in strange ways. By pulling away, they're testing the waters. Will you chase them, proving their fear of being consumed? Will you break, confirming their dread of instability? Or will you wait, feeding their hope for reassurance? Carl Jung saw these patterns as the unconscious seeking safety, a way to measure love's durability without risking full exposure. But it's a flawed test, built on insecurity, and it puts you in a game you never signed up for. Their silence isn't about love's depth. It's about their need to feel secure through your reaction. The Sigma male doesn't play these games. Carl Jung's emphasis on self-awareness lights your path. You see their withdrawal as a signal of their fears, not a challenge to your value. You refuse to jump through hoops or prove yourself because your strength isn't contingent on their validation. This is where your psychological edge kicks in. You step back, letting their test run its course without bending to its rules. Carl Jung believed the unconscious often seeks control through manipulation. But you're not here to be manipulated. You stand tall, grounded in the knowledge that a bond needing constant proof through absence is shaky at its core. The Sigma thrives on mutual respect, not insecure trials. And you use this moment to reinforce your own standards, letting their silence reveal more about them than it ever could about you. 7. Fear's victory over desire. The internal war. Carl Jung's genius lies in mapping the tug-of-war between our conscious desires and unconscious fears. And it's here we see why love can lose to silence. Their conscious mind might crave you, your presence, your connection, but their unconscious is a different beast, wired for survival and terrified of exposure. Carl Jung argued that when fear takes hold, it overrides even the strongest wants, locking them in a paralysis of retreat. Ignoring you isn't a rejection of the bond. It's fear winning a brutal internal battle. Carl Jung's concept of the persona, the social mask we wear, explains this. Love threatens to rip that mask off, leaving them raw and defenseless. Their silence is the unconscious raising a white flag, choosing safety over the risk of true connection, even if it's the last thing their heart wants. As a Sigma male, you don't let this war spill into your territory. Carl Jung's insights give you the tools to see their struggle clearly. It's not about you, but the fear that's hijacked their mind. You don't waste energy trying to fight their battle. You focus on your own domain, keeping your emotions steady and your purpose clear. Carl Jung taught that growth comes from integrating these inner conflicts, but that's their journey, not yours. Your strength is in refusing to let their fear dictate your state, in standing as a beacon of resilience while they wrestle with their demons. The Sigma knows love shouldn't be a casualty of someone else's war, and you use this understanding to protect your peace, turning their silence into a lesson in your own unshakable power. 8. The echoes of past wounds. Why love triggers old pain. Carl Jung's theory of the unconscious as a storehouse of past traumas reveals why your love might push them away. Their ignoring isn't about the present, it's an echo of yesterday's pain, reverberating through their psyche. Carl Jung believed that unresolved wounds, betrayals, abandonments, losses linger in the unconscious, waiting to be triggered. Your genuine connection, with its safety and depth, strikes a chord that resonates with those old fractures. It's not you they're fleeing. It's the ghosts your love accidentally summons. Carl Jung's idea of the wounded healer suggests these pains can heal, but only through confrontation, and for them, that's a step too far. Ignoring you is their unconscious shielding itself from reliving the past, even if it means sacrificing the present. For the Sigma male, this is a moment of profound clarity. Carl Jung's work arms you with empathy, but not at the cost of your own boundaries. You see their silence as a ripple of history, not a strike against you, and you refuse to take on their healing as your burden. Your psychological strength lies in this balance, understanding their pain's roots while keeping your focus on your own path. Carl Jung emphasized that true change comes from within, and you can't force that for them. The Sigma doesn't get lost in someone else's echoes. He acknowledges them, learns from them, and moves forward with purpose. Their past may haunt them, but it doesn't have to haunt you. You stand as a man who knows his worth isn't tied to their wounds, using this insight to reinforce your independence and resilience. 9. The mirror too painful to gaze upon. Why love reflects truth. Carl Jung saw love as a mirror, reflecting not just our light, but our shadows. And for some, that's a sight too raw to face. When they ignore you, It's because your love holds motley crew of insecurities and fears comes into sharp focus. Carl Jung's distinction between the self and the ego explains it. The ego clings to a polished image while the self demands wholeness, flaws, and all. Your authentic love reflects their true self back to them. Beautiful, yes, but also broken, uncertain, unfinished. That unfiltered truth is a psychological shockwave, and for someone unready to bridge that gap, it's unbearable. Carl Jung argued that growth means embracing this mirror, but their unconscious recoils, choosing distance over the painful clarity you bring. Ignoring you is their attempt to shatter that reflection, to escape the reality your presence demands they confront. The Sigma male meets this with unyielding strength. Carl Jung's wisdom shows you their retreat isn't personal. It's their ego's defense against the self you reveal. You don't dim your light to ease their discomfort. You stand as a testament to what's possible when the mirror is faced head-on. Your emotional control keeps you from chasing or shrinking because you know your value doesn't hinge on their gaze. Carl Jung's path of individuation inspires you. You've walked it, integrating your own shadows, and their struggle only sharpens your resolve. You don't take their silence as rejection, but as a sign of their limits, a challenge they must meet alone. The Sigma thrives in this space, using their absence to deepen your own clarity, proving that your strength isn't shaken by their fear of the truth. 10. The seduction of emotional Aikido. Why chasing backfires? Carl Jung's concept of enantiodromia, where extremes flip into their opposites, unlocks why chasing them drives them further away. When they ignore you, your instinct might scream to pursue, to bridge the gap, but that only fuels their unconscious fears. Carl Jung saw the psyche as a delicate balance, and your pursuit tips it toward overwhelm, confirming their dread of engulfment or loss of control. The more you push, the more their unconscious doubles down, turning love into a threat they must flee. Ignoring you isn't the goal, it's the byproduct of a mind desperate to regain footing. Chasing ignites this spiral, proving Carl Jung's insight. Excess in one direction births its reverse, widening the chasm you're trying to close. The Sigma male masters this with what we'll call emotional Aikido, redirecting their retreat into your own stability. Carl Jung's call to self-awareness guides you. You don't react impulsively because you see their flight as fear, not failure. You hold your ground, not out of pride, but from a deep understanding that pursuit backfires on the unconscious level. Your strength lies in this restraint, a quiet power that refuses to feed their panic. Carl Jung believed true resilience comes from within, and you embody that, letting their distance unfold without losing your center. The Sigma doesn't chase. He stands as a rock, unshaken, knowing that if they return, it'll be on terms of mutual growth, not desperate grasping. This is your psychological edge, turning their silence into a space where your independence shines. We've journeyed deep into the psyche today, peeling back the layers of why someone who loves you might ignore you. And it's been a hell of a ride. Carl Jung's wisdom has lit the way, showing us that their silence isn't a mark against you. It's a flare from their unconscious, signaling fear, vulnerability, and unresolved shadows. For the Sigma male, this isn't a setback. It's a forge, a chance to sharpen your mind and soul against the grindstone of human complexity. You've seen how love can trigger retreat, how it mirrors truths they can't face, and how chasing only widens the gap. Now, armed with this insight, you're not just surviving, you're thriving, turning their distance into a catalyst for your own ascent. At Sigma Male Community, we're here to fuel that rise, to equip you with the tools to live as a man of independence, resilience, and purpose. Take this knowledge and run with it, brothers. Reflect on where their silence hooks you. Does it stir doubt, or steal your resolve. Use it to level up, to tighten your grip on your own path. Sigma male community isn't just a channel. It's a brotherhood for men who refuse to settle, who chase excellence over approval. If this hit home, subscribe and join us for more raw, unfiltered wisdom on navigating life with the Sigma mindset. You're not here to bend to the world's chaos. You're here to master it. Keep pushing, keep growing, and until next time, stay unbreakable.